What's going on, guys? Jacob Orth back here with another video of Jacob's Life in Vegas to talk to you guys about moving to Las Vegas today. And I'm coming to you guys from a nice park out here today. That's where I'm hanging out at right now. I don't want to do this video. I was going to do it somewhere else, but I figured I'd just sit and enjoy the nice weather and talk to you guys. Because here's one that's going to be a bit more personal, and it's definitely going to hit home for some of you. It does for me, and I can share some of my experiences with it. But it's about moving to Vegas when you have friends, relatives, you have family members who really don't agree with it. You know, I have gone through some of that myself. I know some of you watching are going through that, or you're going to be going through that. And you know, it's I think back on it. It's been several years now, and I think back about it. I'm smiling because it's obviously worked out well for me for the most part. It hasn't always been easy, but it's worked out well. And I pretty much, I mean, I did what a lot of you are probably going to end up doing, or maybe you've already done it, where you wind up essentially going against the grain in your family. And it can be something that may cause a little discontent amongst the family, may ruffle some feathers, but, you know, when I look back and think about it, it's like, I'm so glad I made the choice to do it. Because at the time, I was getting ready to move here, or I was thinking about moving here, and I toyed with the idea a little bit. And when I came out here to look for work, I came out 1 week, the week right after Thanksgiving, to look for work. I'd only told, I mean, I can count on one hand how many people I told I was coming out here to look for work, and I let them know, like, hey, I'm not really telling a lot of people. And I did that for a reason. That's something I would probably recommend that you guys do. If you're thinking about moving here, or you haven't been here yet, that if you are going to do it, or you're going to come out here and take a look and see what it's like, and you're pretty certain that people are going to have bad things to say, they're going to try to discourage you from doing it, I would actually recommend you don't tell them. Don't. Because there's something I learned, someone had told me this about like goal setting, and if you're going to start like on a new endeavor. So in the beginning, like, don't tell very many people. That's what I've had several people tell me, actually. Like, don't tell people when you're starting on like some kind of new journey in the beginning, because when you start off in the beginning, it's very fragile, right? It's just an idea in your head. You're getting ready to move. You're just thinking it's like an idea. You're not really like set on it yet. You're just kind of tinkering around with it. And if you tell someone like in that phase, they could just make one comment or something that could just totally fucking squash it. They could just totally squash your idea with one comment, or a couple people hear about it and they start ripping on you for it. That could totally destroy it, and you might miss out on a great opportunity. So I was conscious of that, and actually it's funny, I took that same mentality when I started my YouTube channel. I only told like 2 people. Like, I hardly told anybody when I started YouTube. Now I have no problem telling people because I'm doing well, much better than before. So it's the same idea for you getting ready to move here to Vegas, or if you're thinking about it. You know, I wouldn't share with a whole lot of people, and it's not so much, you know, that you're causing problems in the family or with friends. Because here's the deal, let's set this straight. Your family loves you, your friends love you, they want to see you do well, they want what's best for you, okay? If they support you, they care about you, they're going to want to see you do well, and they want what's best for you. The intentions are good. The problem is that just because they're your friends and they're your family doesn't mean that they automatically know what's best for you. It doesn't. It doesn't. They may have grown up with you, they've seen you grow up, but they can't just tell you what's going to be the best thing for your life in the future. I mean, ultimately they really can't. And if something's pulling you to go a different direction, if something's pulling you to move out here, whether you're coming from California like I did, or you're coming way the heck over from South Carolina, or you're coming from another country, if something's pulling you to come, if there's something inside of you that's saying, go do it, take a look at this, go take a chance, you know, that voice is there for a reason. That's happening for a reason, and that was in me. Because I just knew I was finishing school, I didn't like being in school anymore. I didn't like being in the academic setting. I didn't even want to stay in California when I was looking around. I didn't want to stay in the San Francisco Bay Area and pay the highest cost of living in the country. I didn't want to join the rat race of life, spending several hours a day in traffic with everybody else, and feel like I was supposed to start climbing the corporate ladder, and that was where I was supposed to spend the next, 20, 30, 40 years of my working life doing that. I just did not want to follow that just like, generic path that seems like so many other people do. I mean, I just didn't want to do it. I mean, I didn't like the cost of living in the Bay Area. I didn't like the taxes in California. They just passed another state income tax right before I left. And I had a bunch of loan debt to pay, and I just remember looking at the numbers, and I'm like, I'm going to be a financial fucking slave for years. I mean, if I stay there, and I mean, I just didn't want to be there in the first place, and to go somewhere else, you know, I took a risk on coming here. I only been to Vegas a couple times in my life, and that was when I was like a teenager. I'd never been here as an adult, and certainly never came out here to look for work and thought about living a life here. But you're going to have that where you're thinking about making this jump, making this trip, and you're going to have people who they don't know anything. They don't know shit about Vegas. And they're going to throw in their 2 cents. And like I had someone tell me when I was getting ready to move here, I was thinking about like, well, what would you want to go to Vegas for? Like, you know, once you take away the casinos, there's not much else to do. That is like a complete opinion. That's a person of somebody who completely doesn't know shit about Vegas other than the Strip. They know the Strip, they know downtown, a little about the mafia, that's probably about it. That's really all they know about Vegas. They know nothing about the outside area, they know nothing about the community here, they know nothing about the daily life, they don't know anything about that. You know, I mean, and I said to him, my reply was like, so I don't know why people choose to live in Las Cruces, New Mexico. There's no Strip full of casinos there, but they fucking live in Las Cruces. I don't know why, right? I don't know why people would want to live in, you know, nowhere towns, maybe in Omaha or in Nebraska or up in Wyoming or in one of the Dakotas, but they do. They don't have a big casino. They don't have tons of casinos, all the entertainment that Vegas does, but they still choose to live there. So, you know, to me, that water didn't really make much sense, or that argument didn't hold a lot of water with me. Because I said, people live all over the place, and some people look at like, why the hell would you ever want to live there? But it's not about what they can see, it's about what you can see. That's the big deal. I mean, it's not your life there. You don't have to convince them of why you want to live your life the way you do. You don't owe them an explanation. So if you see it, that's the only part that matters. If you see it, if you think there's something there, then you want to go for it. I didn't know exactly what I wanted in the future. I mean, I didn't know exactly how things are going to plan out because you can't predict the future. But I just knew I didn't want to stay in the Bay Area. I didn't want to stay in California. I wanted to go do something different. I really, really did. I just did not want to stay there. I felt like I had just outgrown my upbringing. I didn't want to be around there anymore. It was time for something different. And I just knew that if I ignored that voice, if I ignored that inside of me, I was just probably going to wind up going down the road and being freaking miserable. That's people, they ignore that voice inside of them to go do something, and that's when, like, later down the road, they have like a midlife crisis, or they're looking back at something they should have done years ago, and then they're realizing, oh shit, you know, time's running out. And I didn't want to do that. I just didn't want to do. I wanted to do what I felt was right for me, not what some family members wanted, not so people I knew could go around and, you know, brag about what I'm doing or where I'm working and tell something that sounds great at a party or sounds very socially acceptable. I didn't care about that. I didn't worry about that. I wanted to do what was right for me, and that's what I encourage you to do, is to do what's right for you. Family may not get it, friends may not get it, but that's fine. And even when you move here, there's still probably going to have people trying to hit you up to pull you back. A few people would, you know, someone contacted me, and they said, well, just remember, you know, you can always come home. And I remember thinking, no, fuck that. This is my home. Vegas is my home. People come and visit. Someone said that to me once. Well, can you come back home and visit? I said, well, my home's like 15 minutes away. Like, it's just down the street. We were over near the Strip. I was like, yeah, my home's like just right over here. Like, well, I mean, are you going to come back? Oh, I said, well, I haven't lived there in years, so this is my home now. This is where I choose to live. This is home, not back in California. And it's just a mentality I took with it, because you can really choose where you want to live. All right? You have a large amount of control over your life and the kind of life you want to have. And other people, they don't get that. Some people growing up in a small town, never leaving that town, maybe they go on vacation once in a while, they go do something fun, but never moving anywhere else, never really trying, I guess you could say, a different way of life. I mean, for them, they're perfectly content to do that, to keep their entire life in this one area and just stay there, and that's it. That's their world. That's how they want to keep it. That's fine. For some people like me, and for someone like you who's probably watching this, there's the reason you're watching this, because that is woefully inadequate. That's not enough, and it wasn't enough for me at all. And that's why I'm glad I chose to listen to that voice inside me. Moved here. Even after I moved here, you know, there was some hope that, like, it was like, you know, just an experiment. I was going to move back to California. It's like, nah, fuck that. I run my life, and I'm not going. I don't plan to move back. I'm glad I made the move. Happy I did it. If you got family or friends that are resisting, like I said, I don't think you should tell too many people in the beginning that you're thinking about moving out here. I suggest taking a visit, on your own to come look for work, see the outlying areas, see if you like it, just to get a taste for it, and then at some point you got to decide either you're going to jump or not. So if you really want it, you think you're going to wind up liking it here, make the jump. Make the jump and make it work, and just be committed. That was one thing after a while I remember thinking, like when I was getting ready to move here, I was like, you know, I guess if I ever wanted to, I could go back to California, but then I was like, nah. I thought I was like, you know, I think I'd rather go homeless here and just figure it out. If things get really bad, I'd rather just wind up being homeless and having to figure it out for myself than go back. Because when you do something like this, when you deviate from what's normal in your family, you do something that people just don't expect, I mean, you're forcing people to look at you differently. And you're choosing to go out on your own. If you choose to go out on your own, you got to grow up. So if any of you are in that situation where you think family and friends aren't going to get it, they're not going to like it, you know, you think their opinions might throw you off, don't tell them. Maybe tell a few people you trust. You know, if you're trying to find some people to help you find work or something, maybe you talk to them. But I didn't tell a lot of people. I'm glad I did not tell a lot of people. And I just came here, found a job, signed a lease, and went back to California before I'd even told several people. Most people did not even find out I was getting ready to move here until I'd already signed a lease and got a job here. That's how I did it. That's how I did it. That's in the beginning, it was a fragile idea. I'm glad I didn't tell very many people. And now that I moved here and I'm doing well, people have seen that I'm serious. I'm not just going to go up and move back. They've all accepted at this point, and that's how it is. So just keep that in mind. It's something I wanted to share with you guys. So family and friends disagree. It's okay. It's your life. It's not their vision. It's your vision. It's your life, so you do what you want with it. Like the video, comment, tell me what you guys think. You can always go to JacobslifeinVegas.com to get more content. That's it for this video. I'm Jacob. This is My Life in Vegas.